Two British princesses are getting swept up in the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Beatrice and Eugenie are the daughters of former Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson.
The Jeffrey Epstein scandal is involving two British queens. Beatrice and Eugenie are the daughters of Sarah Ferguson, who used to be Prince Andrew, and Andrew. In early March 2026, the scandal involving Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie is heating up again. This time, it's mostly about the fact that the two sisters will not be able to go to Royal Ascot 2026 or any other public royal events in the near future. Not allowed to attend Royal Ascot 2026 from June 16 to June 22. These two girls are not going to sit in the royal box or be a part of the royal procession. It's been over 10 years since they've both been away at the same time. Reason given by the House. The official word from Buckingham Palace has not been made public. They wouldn't say anything about private family issues. But sources inside the royal family say this was done to protect the royal image in business, with a focus on working royals. The King, the Queen, Prince William, Princess Kate, and Princess Anne. Officially, Royal Ascot 2026 will take place from Tuesday, June 16, 2026, to Saturday, June 20, 2026, at Ascot Racecourse in Berkshire. This is the most famous horse racing event in Britain. In a short but carefully worded statement released by the Ascot Racecourse press office on March 5, 2026, the event directors made it clear that Royal Ascot will always be a celebration of great sports, national history, and the long-standing relationship between the British racing industry and the Crown. There were no direct references to any members of the royal family in the speech. However, palace sources have quietly revealed one big change to the usual royal lineup. This year, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie will not be there. Both of the Duke of York's daughters will not be sitting in the royal box or taking part in the daily carriage procession with top members of the royal family. This is the first time in more than 10 years that both York princesses have missed the 5-day event at the same time. Insiders said the move was part of a larger recalibration of royal engagements that the public would see. The goal was to keep the dignity and focus of the monarchy's most important summer events. Buckingham Palace has refused to make a formal statement on the case because it has a long-standing policy of not talking about private family matters. But the quiet exclusion has already sparked a lot of discussion in British and foreign media. Many have said that the move shows that the institution wants to have a streamlined and unified royal presence at one of its most public events every year. Royal Ascot isn't just a race meet. It is a living institution that has changed over 300 years but kept its main spirit. In 1711, Queen Anne started the event, which was supposed to be a 4-day show of the best thoroughbreds in the land. Today, it lasts for 5 days and more than 300,000 people from all over the world come to watch, including heads of state, foreign royalty, business leaders, and famous people from every continent. 30 group and listed races are being held, with the Gold Cup, which is the oldest and most important race on the calendar and offers prize money of more than 8 million naira, being the highlight on Thursday. The dress code is still being closely followed. Men must wear morning dress or lounge suits, and women must wear formal daywear with hats. Members and guests of the famous royal area must follow rules that haven't changed in generations. At 2 p.m. every day, the royal parade starts. When the Queen and other important royals ride down the straight mile in open carriages pulled by Windsor Greys. The parade isn't just for show. It represents how the crown and the grass have been linked for a long time. The Prince and Princess of Wales will likely walk with King Charles III and Queen Camilla at the head of the parade. The Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh and, most importantly, Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal are also guaranteed to attend. This year, the Princess Royal's presence is especially important. After being 75 years old, her 76th birthday will be on August 15, 2026. Colonel of the Blues and Royals, Royal Horse Guards, and 1st Dragoon is one of the most prestigious honorary military positions in the British Army that Princess Anne still holds. This elite household cavalry company is the ceremonial corps of the monarch's mounted escort. They are very important at state events like the trooping of the colors and the daily changing of the guard at the Horse Guards parade. In 1998, Princess Anne was made colonel, and she has held the post ever since, taking over from her father, Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. The smooth transition showed how close the regiment is to the royal family. There's no sink in the job. As colonel, Princess Anne is in charge of the regiment's ceremonial standards and the well-being of its troops and horses. She also speaks for the Queen at important military events. She is also one of only 2 female colonels in the modern history of the Home Cavalry, and on certain occasions she serves as a gold stick in waiting. The ceremonial baton that stands for the defense of the sovereign. To her already impressive military rank of Admiral in the Royal Navy and Air Chief Marshal in the Royal Air Force, she was promoted to General in the British Army in 2020. This made her the only woman in British history to hold senior positions in all 3 services. Princess Anne's lifelong love of horse sports gives her even more authority at Royal Ascot, in addition to her military tasks. A skilled 3-day event rider who raced for Great Britain in the 1976 Olympics in Montreal. Later, she became a good point-to-point rider, and she still supports the British Equestrian Federation and the International Federation for Equestrian Sports. She is often seen in the royal box at Ascot studying form with the skilled eye of a true insider. The racing world respects her knowledge of genes and breeding. Because of this, her presence this year is not just a show. It sends a strong message that the monarchy is still committed to British racing and shows that royal support will continue at the top level. There will also be a few small changes made to the 2026 meeting that are meant to bring it up to date while still honoring its history. The racecourse will have a sustainability zone for the first time, which will highlight ways that thoroughbred breeding and racecourse activities can cut down on carbon emissions. A new charitable partnership with the British Red Cross has been revealed. A portion of the ticket sales will go to help people in need around the world. The monarchy has put a lot of stress on being relevant in the 21st century, and these projects show that. Senior royals, like Princess Anne, have always pushed this idea. Still, the most talked about thing about Royal Ascot 2026 is still the updated list of royals who will be there. Palace sources say that Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie's absence is not a permanent break but rather a measured response to recent family events. Both princesses, who are now in their mid-30s and have young families of their own, have built independent businesses over the past few years while still doing some royal duties on occasion. It is thought that their absence from this year's procession in the royal box is only brief. This is part of a plan to draw attention to the most important working members of the royal family during this time of increased scrutiny. As the months go by, Royal Ascot 2026 looks like it will be just as exciting as it has been for more than 300 years, with a mix of fashion, sports, and pomp. Princess Anne's appearance as Colonel of the Blues and Royals will be a strong visual link between the royal family's military history and its long-standing love of the field. In a time when institutions are constantly being asked to show why they are important, the Princess Royal's unwavering service is a powerful example of duty, knowledge, and quiet authority. This year, her part will remind everyone that the monarchy is still fully committed to excellence and tradition at Royal Ascot, even if some people miss the event. In modern times, the Royal Procession at Ascot is still one of the most recognizable pictures of the British royalty. Every afternoon at exactly 2 p.m. For 5 days, there is a meeting. From the beginning of the course to the parade ring, there is a straight mile of open landaus led by 4 Windsor Greys and accompanied by mounted troopers of the Household Army. In the early 1800s, King George IV started the custom of making a formal entrance to the races in a carriage procession. This was done so that the public could see and to show that the king was a fan of the sport of kings. King Charles III and Queen Camilla will lead the parade again in 2026. The Prince and Princess of Wales will be riding in the second carriage, right behind them, as has been the norm since 2022. They will be in the first landau. This placement makes the clear line of succession stand out, and it also draws attention to the core working royals who do most of the public work for the crown. What will the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh do after they get off the third landau? Officials at the palace now talk about internally as the main royal party for important ceremonies. The most obvious change for 2026 is that extra carriages for extended family members have been purposely left out. In the past, especially from 2012 to 2024, it was common for up to 5 or 6 lands to be in the procession. These would often include cousins of the late Queen Elizabeth II, like the Duke of Kent and Princess Alexandra or the Duke of York and his daughters, or other royals who did not work but had honorary military duties or long-standing personal ties to racing. This year, though, the parade will only go by the 3 main landhouses. Buckingham Palace hasn't said anything about the change in public, but reliable sources close to the family have revealed that it was made a few months ago as part of a larger plan to cut down on the number of times the royal family attends important national events. The most obvious part of this change is that Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie were not in the parade or in the royal box at all. Since they were young adults, both women have been going to Royal Ascot on a daily basis. They usually sit with their parents in the royal box or ride in the carriage when there was room. Beatrice, who is now 37 years old, first took part in the parade when she was 21 years old, in 2008. The next year, 36-year-old Eugenie did the same thing. For a long time, their appearance was seen as a sign of generational continuity in the House of Windsor. This was especially true after the Duke and Duchess of Sussex left the family in 2020 and the York branch became more well-known in public. But it is thought that the choice to not include them this year was made because of ongoing worries about how the public sees the monarchy and the need to protect its image in a time of intense media scrutiny. The Royal Ascot is shown live on terrestrial TV in the UK, and tens of millions of people around the world watch it. The event is often used as an example of soft power in messages from the palace. A time when the government is most open, beautiful, and bringing people together. Any interruption that's seen as such could make that message less clear. Sources who have been privy to internal talks stress that the exclusion is not meant to be a permanent ban. The HR styles and titles of both princesses have not changed, and they can still do some public tasks when asked. However, Clarence House, which is now the operational hub for the Prince of Wales's household, says that royals who aren't working should avoid going to the most symbolic places until family issues that have gotten bad press are seen as over in the public perception. This is similar to how other distant family members have been treated in recent years.